If you love DIY projects and creating upcycling ideas, you're going to love these fun ways to repurpose old utensils. Instead of letting them sit unused in a drawer, why not turn them into something unique and functional? For this, I used a large ladle with a beautiful bronze finish, but any ladle will work. You'll also need a sturdy piece of wood. I used a staple across the front and secured it further with a screw, which worked really well. One important step is bending the bottom of the ladle slightly so it cradles the candle properly. Once mounted on the wall, just pop in a small candle and look how cute that is. You can even group a few of these together for a warm, rustic display. I used a vintage dessert spoon, but any utensil with a solid handle will work. A great trick to make bending metal easier is to soak the spoon in hot water for a few minutes. This makes it more pliable so you can shape it with less effort. Once softened, attach the spoon to a piece of wood. I went with a simple natural wood plank, but you can stain or paint yours however you like. You can adjust the angle depending on what you want to hang. I'm using mine to hold a wreath, but these hooks are also great for keys, towels, or even lightweight kitchen utensils. For this, I used an oversized salad fork. The first step is to bend the middle prongs backwards. This will act as the support. Then gently bend the front two prongs upward so they can hold the photo, small sign, or even a piece of artwork. Once the fork is shaped correctly, it stands on its own and it becomes a perfect little display piece. I love how this adds a vintage handmade touch to my space. You can use it on a shelf, a desk, or even a side table to showcase pictures or art in a unique way. I love how these simple projects give old utensils a brand new purpose. Each piece feels personal and adds character to your home decor. The best part, you probably already have some of these materials lying around.
I grabbed a ladle from my kitchen and a dollar store plastic pot. We're going to start by hot gluing our ladle directly to the container. So I'm going to use my glue skillet. Feel free to use a glue gun, but I'm just going to take a scrap floral stem and apply a very generous amount of hot glue to the back side of this ladle. And then just place it right on the plastic. Now that the glue is hardened, we're going to come back in with even more hot glue on the base of our ladle. So apply a generous amount. If it drips on your tray, that is a-okay. And the bottom part is actually a cake stand that I got on clearance. So now we're going to just hold this here for a minute while it hardens up. And with this pot being lightweight plastic, it'll hold up just fine. Now we have some flowers, and you can find all sorts of flowers and greenery from nicksseasonaldecor.com. And what we're going to do is snip off each flower stem individually. So now that we've removed our flowers, what we're going to do is take them, dip them into our glue skillet, and start gluing them right to the ladle. So after dipping them in your glue skillet, apply a generous amount of hot glue, and then what you can start doing is gluing it right to the handle of your ladle. Now we still have a few flowers left from those two sprays we broke down, and we're just going to work them right into the ladle. So of course you can come back in with a little brick of foam, but with this being displayed in my kitchen, I don't think we need to waste any extra materials or extra money by working in any foam. The ladle does a great job of keeping the hot glue in place. So we're just going to continue filling in. Now we're going to just continue working in even more beautiful flowers. And look at how pretty this looks with the purple in different shades against the green. But let's work in a little bit more green. And feel free to use a plastic bowl that you might already have in your cupboard. So many different ways of creating this beautiful effect. But let's snip down these individually again. So I always recommend breaking apart your sprays. That way you can stretch your dollar and you're not having to use a whole bunch of sprays, which in return would cost you a ton of money. So we'll just dip these in our glue skillet and pepper them in throughout. And we'll place one more there, and our final spray we'll tuck up top. And here's how it turned out, and I think it turned out so cute. So we used a container, a green container from the dollar store, a few flowers that only cost a couple dollars, an old ladle that I've had in my kitchen for years, and I'm excited about an upgrade for that, and a clearance pie tray or cake stand, whatever you want to call it. You can use whatever container you have on hand as well. So for about $5 or $6, we created a really pretty arrangement, and I love that it looks like the flowers that are spilling out of the container.
To start this project, I want to remove the handles to the spoons. There are a few ways I can remove the handles: a straight edge knife, some snips, or scissors. It's really important to paint the side of the spoon that food would normally sit in. I'm starting with some black paint, and I want to paint little black dots on 2 of the spoons. On the other one, I want to paint solid black. For my second set of spoons, I want to leave 2 of the spoons clear, and on the third one, I want to paint some black stripes. With the second coat of black dry, I want to paint the spoons with the dots red. I'm going to paint the red right over top of the black spots. When I turn them around, I'll then be able to see the dots and the rest will be all red. For the spoon with the stripes, I want to paint it the same way, but this time I'm going to do it with yellow paint. It's time to put the spoons together now. I'm going to use my hot glue gun with a little glue to keep them together. To make the faces for my little cuties, I'm going to use a small piece of black pipe cleaner. Now that I have it shaped, I can just glue it right over the ends of the spoon and it'll cover that up as well. I'm going to put a dab of glue on the underside of the middle spoon, and then I want to put a skewer into it while it dries. The skewers are going to allow me to stick these into my plants as if the little bugs were flying around. I love how adorable these are in my plants and how fun they look.
I love anything Christmas tree DIY, and when I saw these gold spoons at my local party store, I knew they would make a beautiful DIY. I also picked up these cream plastic spoons. So I begin by taking my spoons, and I'm going to take a pair of wire cutters and I'm just going to cut them at the handle, but making sure that I leave a little bit of the handle behind. You don't want to cut it directly at the base of the spoon. You want to leave about just a ½ an inch of the handle. I'm going to continue cutting all the spoons until I've cut the entire package. And for my Christmas tree, I actually used 2 packages of 48 spoons. Then I'm going to come in with this styrofoam cone. It's about 9 inches in height, and I'm going to begin at the base of the cone hot gluing on my plastic spoons. So I want the plastic spoon just to very lightly touch the base of the table. So I'm going to start with the first layer of plastic spoons, working all the way around until I get to where I started. Once I have my first layer done, I can come in and do another layer over top, this time placing the spoons in between 2 spoons of the bottom layer. So we're staggering the spoons, going around, completing our second layer, and then we're going to continue in this fashion until we've worked our way all the way up the cone, stopping at just about our last layer of spoons. For my tree topper, I'm going to use this little metal star and I'm going to hot glue it to a barbecue skewer. Then I'm going to come in with some matte Mod Podge and I'm going to paint this star, and then I'm going to sprinkle on some gold glitter over top just to give it a fun shiny embellishment. Then I'm going to stick the barbecue skewer down into the styrofoam cone, and then I'm going to finish my last layer of spoons, tucking them up underneath of the star. And this is my finished plastic spoon Christmas tree. And you can see here that I did another tree in the cream spoons, just a little bit smaller. I cut my cone in half just to give me that nice staggered decor look. This DIY is so easy, and all of this cost me under $10. I really hope that this project has inspired you to get creative and make your own plastic spoon Christmas tree. Experiment with colors, different colors of plastic spoons, and really have fun with this one. Thank you so much for watching Home Talk, and we'll see you on another video.